when things happen, big or small. Celebrate them and take that time to realize you did that. You did that. I don't feel like I do anything alone. I've never wanted to be a sole practitioner. I always knew I wanted a team, but I now own the business on my own. And so while I have the team, I also have the responsibility and the risk and all those things with being the business owner. And sometimes I definitely question, or did I make the right decision? And so talking with her every 2 weeks and her knowing what's going on and telling me, hey, stop, celebrate that. You did it, celebrate it. Take a moment to, just enjoy it. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Accounting with Confidence. As you can see, I am not in my home office at my nice, the desk that's cluttered, but I am out in Orlando, Florida, attending Scaling New Heights. But I wanted to jump in and keep rolling with getting episodes out. And so I had just had one planned, didn't get it recorded before I left. So I had a little time this morning and thought I would hop in and let you know what I wanted to talk about today. The topic for my podcast today is coaching. So I have been working with a coach this is my third full year to have a coach that is just working with me for my business. And I have, it's through Woodard, and that's who puts on this conference. And so I get to see her in person here. But normally we are meeting every 2 weeks and we are working on, what's going on in the business. So I wanted to really get in here and talk to you about the 3 things that, there's more than 3. But I've limited to 3 that I wanted to share with you that I have gotten out of my coaching in the last 3 years. And these things are above and beyond the progress that I have seen in my business, both in, monetary metrics, both in just the growth of the firm. These 3 things are things that I think without having a coach that knows me, knows my firm, learns about my people, all of those things. I think if I had not had that, I wouldn't be as far with those numbers, the growth numbers, the team numbers, any of those things, the profit numbers. I wouldn't be there if she hadn't coached me in certain directions. So the first thing that she is really good at, and I'm actually going to stop referring to her as she. Her name is Kim. She's been my coach for about 3 years. It'll be 3 years this fall. So it was late 2023 when she started being my coach. And she's just that person that I knew when I met her that she was a good fit for me. The coaches with Woodard are great. I had done some group coaching with them. And I knew I was kind of ready for that next step of having that premium level of having just a coach assigned to me. Now, she obviously coaches a lot of firms and she's really good at it. But for me, she brought some things that I could not do myself. I am a sole owner. Therefore, I don't have that person that is really helping me to make decisions or, kind of either celebrate with or commiserate with or any of those things. And sometimes it can get very lonely. So while I have a great team, I can't always burden them with those types of things. They're there to, do the client service, get the work done. They have jobs. They don't need to be my sounding board all the time. And they also, they don't need to be my coach. I need to be their coach. So anyway, back to my 3 things. Kim, the first thing she has taught me is to celebrate everything. So, she's great. She does the snaps it out for celebrating. And I'm one who, when something happens in a way that either I didn't expect or turn out really good. I am always in that glass half empty type person. So I'm waiting for what's going to happen next to mess this up. And she stops me and says, celebrate this. This was something worth celebrating, whether it was just getting something done that had been on my list for a very long time, doing the hard things, by having difficult conversations or communications with clients or team. She celebrates the personal stuff. She's been through a lot with me, so she really knows kind of what has been going on, not just in my business, but in my life. And when things happen, big or small, celebrate them and take that time to realize, you did that. You did that. And I don't do anything. I don't feel like I do anything alone. I've never wanted to be a sole practitioner. I always knew I wanted a team, but I now own the business on my own. And so while I have the team, I also have the responsibility and the risk and all those things with being the business owner. And sometimes I definitely, I guess I would say, question, or did I make the right decision? And so talking with her every 2 weeks and her knowing what's going on and telling me, hey, stop, celebrate that. You did it, celebrate it, do something, sometimes it's go do something big. Sometimes it's, just, take a moment to, just enjoy it. So celebrating is something that I was not doing very well, for sure, prior to having a coach. The second thing she has been really good at for me is to help me reframe things that go wrong. So meaning she comes in and I'm like, okay, we had a terrible tax season, here's why, here's all my reasons. And she can take things and say, okay, what did you learn from that you can take away to do better next time? What is this thing? So I'll give you an example. 2 years ago, when I was here at this conference, big client, sent me an email. I mean, my biggest client, I would say, a big chunk of my revenue, maybe 25% of it, sent me an email. And I call these Dear John emails because I send them as well, which is, they fired me. They fired the firm, and said they were going a different direction. And I had been the whole team was very invested in this client, and we had been working with them for many years, doing a lot of things. And I was devastated, like freaking out, devastated, in the middle of conference. So I got the email while I'm sitting in a breakout session and was like, oh, uh-oh. So it was, I was freaking out. I mean, what do you do? I am very aware that I have people that rely on me for their livelihood, for income into their households, for benefits, for any of those things. And it just really set me back. So actually, the actual thing I did was I left that breakout session and went to find Kim. And cried on her shoulder. But as soon as, I was calmed down enough, it was, okay, what do we need to do? What is the most important thing, and what does this free you up for? What, your team is heavily invested in this work. At that point, were we making money on it or not making money on it? We didn't know, but we were really committed to having to, help this client. And they'd been a client for a very long time. And she was able to help me step back and reframe it. Okay. So let's bring in ideal clients, or clients that are the work that you want to do. And what did you learn? Is selling you as a CFO, is that what you want? Is that something that the time it takes to do that, is that what your passion is? And we worked through all of those things to realize that, yeah, no, I don't want to be the CFO, the outsourced CFO that's sitting on their board with them and helping them make the hard decisions and dealing with the bank and all of those things. It was very stressful for me. I mean, it was definitely stressful for the company and the cash flow issues they were going through, but it was something that was taking me away from being able to grow other parts of my business, to work on speaking, to work on the podcast, to work on any of these things, my coaching, the things that I really want to do. So she really helped me reframe that. And then just recently this year, we made a hire at the beginning of tax season, thought it was going to be the solution. This is the goal. We wanted to add to our leadership team. And it ended up not being a good hire. And it didn't work out. And so she was able to talk to me and say, okay, what did you learn from that? What won't you do when you hire the next time? And it became very apparent, that I don't need to beat myself up about making a hire that seemed like it was going to be the perfect fit. And now looking back, I can say, okay, here's the things that made it not a good fit. And here's how I could have spotted it earlier, before the hire happened. So she can actually make me say, she can get that out of me. What did you learn and how can you move forward with that information? She's a gather data. This is a data point. This is something that you actually can take and use and improve for the next time. And I need someone who can tell me that, because when you're in the situation and it's very personal to you, you tend to feel like it's your fault and you messed up. And I definitely take things and put it in a very, usually a very negative way. And I'm working on that, but it does happen. And to have a coach that helps with that is just amazing. So I would say so that's the second thing that I've learned from her. The first being celebrate things. The second being reframe things. Figure out the data that you're getting from the situations that you're in. And the third thing is fun. And I know that seems kind of a strange thing to learn from a coach, but she is a fun person, and we share book, what we're reading, and we've shared authors, and we're both into romanticities, or currently we're reading I'm reading or listening to the Dungeon Crawler Carl books, which are really entertaining, and so now she's doing that too, and but there's just this connection there that if life isn't fun, and it's not that it's 100% fun all the time, but if you're not having fun, you're not kind of generating the energy that brings good things to your business. You're not taking the time for yourself. So I try to bring fun, and I'm trying to bring more of that into the culture of our company, that it's not always business. It's not always deadlines and due dates and all of the things. We are actually people. And having fun together is something that is hard to do on a remote team, but I think we can definitely kind of bring that into our culture a little bit more. And we're going to work on things inside the company to help make that happen. So this year we're going to do a firm retreat, bringing people into town, for us into St. Louis. So everybody that is on the team is coming in for a day in August to do some training and do some a client meet and greet, like a client kind of social event, so that they can meet their team members face to face and get that connection. But we're going to have fun while we're doing it. So we're working in the planning stages for that. But I learned that from Kim. We are not all business when we're on our 45, 50-minute, whatever length coaching call every 2 weeks. It's not all about, what did you do? What did you achieve? What didn't you do? What do you need help with? It's about, hey, what's going on? What's going on in your life? So she knows about my racing. I know about her camping. We know there's just things that we can talk about and recognize that we both have similar kind of outlooks, that we're at a point that we want to be enjoying our life. Life's too short. And she will remind me, go have fun. And, and definitely, talking about our characters in our books and those types of things is so fun, because we're grown-ups, but it's still fun to discuss some of the highlights of what we're reading. So that is what I wanted to share with you right now, because this has come, we've had enough stuff happening lately that I wanted to kind of let you know that I'm not doing this alone. I have a coach and I have a great team and I have a coach, and this is how I'm getting where I am. And since I have been with Kim as my coach, I did the math. I went back and looked. Revenues have increased 28% through the end of 25, cumulative. So we've been, I think it was up, when I first started with her, it was up 7.5%. And that was like, I had only started with her very, very short amount of time. And then we had, a 16% year and a 10%. I mean, I was stagnant in revenue growth when I started with Kim, completely stagnant. Now we are on track to do revenue growth of probably maybe 20% this year, somewhere between probably 16 and 20. And that's on target for what my goal is for the company. But we're also hit some major targets with firm growth in terms of people and net profit, things that I was just kind of, I don't have a plan for it when I started. And now, like, this is how much I want to grow by this time. This is how many people I would like to have by this time. This is what kind of net profit I want to have. This is what kind of, salaries I want to pay. And so just working with her has moved things forward for me faster. Now, could I have done it by myself? Yes. Would it have been done in the same speed? Maybe. But I think what would have suffered is prioritizing and making sure that the scaling, to the size I want to be, wasn't hurting the culture of the company, the client service. That's very important to me, that we are serving our clients, even as we make changes to make the firm better. And I'm afraid if I hadn't had a coach, I would have done one of two things. I would have made decisions that made us grow too fast and not been able to keep up. Or two, I wouldn't have grown fast enough, like have the mental capacity to say, this is the pace I need to be on. And I would have given up. So she has helped me pace the numbers, to say, yes, this is realistic. Yes, this is when you need to hire somebody. Yes. And she's not making the decision. She is essentially giving me the guidance to say, yeah, I see good points on this and bad points. Let's talk about it. And we then kind of can shed some light on where I need to focus. So I'm thrilled to work with her. I will continue to be working with her. I think we renew again right now. And so it's just been a game changer to have that outside perspective and to be able to take someone like me who tends to get in their own head, to be, I tend not to be the most optimistic. I tend to be a worrier. She has really helped with that. So she likes to make sure that I am celebrating, that I am not dwelling on things and actually reframing and learning from them, and make sure that I'm having fun. So that's all I have today. Pretty short episode. Got to get to, the breakfast. And it's way over there. It's a huge conference center here. So I will be coming out with my after scaling episode where I've kind of, put the days together. And so I'll start recording that today because scaling starts today. We've been here since Friday, but we will be actually starting today. So thanks for listening. I will be back with you hopefully very soon. And please feel free to text me. I love getting fan mail. Someone did again last week, and I don't remember her name, and I haven't had time because I've been traveling haven't had time to get back to her. But I love that. I love knowing that I've touched somebody, that something I said resonated or something made them say, "Hey, can you tell me more about this?" So anyway, I love it. So where it says, send Beth a text, send me a text. It makes me so happy. But anyway, have a great week, and I will talk to you again when I get back from scaling. So, all right, everybody, have a great day. Bye-bye.